everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about TSS, which is toxic shock syndrome. But before I begin, I've done this topic on TSS I think about 2 years ago, but I need to emphasize before I do it again, the purpose of this video is not to bring down any product or bring down any brand. It's just a matter of just giving you the facts, just telling you what it is and what causes it. So primarily, TSS, which is toxic shock syndrome, is caused by the use of tampons. Yes. When I tell people about TSS, I find it very ironic that especially when I'm introducing something like the cup to them, the first question is, oh, what is this? What does it contain? What is this? Blah, blah, blah. And I always explain everything. Then after I've already explained, I always ask them, what do you use? And they say they use a tampon. And I'm like, okay, what's in your tampon? And you should see their faces. They just go like, I don't know what's in my tampon. I'm like, have you ever read the leaflet? Because there's usually like a little leaflet inside every box. I'm like, have you ever read the leaflet? And they're like, no, I've never read it. Then I'm like, so you've been using a tampon for all these years and you have no idea what it is. You're just inserting it into your body. You have no idea what the leaflet says, but just because your sister or your mom or your friend told you about tampons, you just started using them. Is that the case? And they go like, yes. I'm like, okay, do you know about TSS? I don't know what TSS is. So this is why we have this video today. Okay, so this being your vagina, you're inserting your tampon here, right? So when you insert your tampon, I know for tampon users, because I've also experienced it. Sometimes when you wear the wrong size, like the high absorbency tampon, and you're like having a light flow, what happens is when you're pulling the tampon out, do you sometimes feel like it's drying you out, like it's scratching you? Do you feel those scratches? Yeah, that's bad. That is really, really bad. So what happens when you're pulling out your tampon, what you're doing, and then you feel that scratching feeling, what you're doing is you're causing very tiny tears within your vagina. But then, to be fair, these tears can be caused by childbirth. They can be caused by when you're having rough sex, or you're having sex but you're not well lubricated. That's why you need lube, ladies. That is why you need lube. But basically, when you cause those small tears, what happens is the tampon that you've inserted and you've either A, stayed with it for more than 4 hours. Yes, you should only use a tampon for 4 hours and that's it. You should change it. It's even written in the manual, by the way. Go and read it. So what happens is, because the tampon has overstayed in your vagina, bacteria will start forming. This bacteria is what will get into your blood system. How will it get into your blood system? The small tears. Remember the small tears that you talked about? Yes. So what happens is a tampon creates a perfect environment for breeding of this bacteria. So when the bacteria gets into your blood system through those small tears, it can affect you in different ways. And in the end, it can actually cause your life. Many women around the world have died because of tampons. Yes, tampons can actually kill you if you're not aware. So when the bacteria gets into your blood system, most of the time it will attack your kidney. But in most cases, because people don't really know what TSS is, they don't really know that they're affected until most of the time it's too late. And people have actually lost limbs, people have lost legs. There's a model who lost her arm because what happens is it attacks a specific part of your body. And if it's not checked, or if it's not if it's not like gotten in time, it can spread to your kidney and then you can die. People have gotten into comas. People have lost limbs because then if it's in your leg, it will travel all the way up to your kidney and then you will die, definitely. So what people do is to prevent the spread, they have to cut it from where it is. So if it's in your leg, they'll have to take off your leg. If it's in your arm, they'll have to take off your arm, that kind of thing. So what are the symptoms, the early symptoms that you have TSS? So the thing with TSS is it manifests as a flu. So you'll just think you have like normal homa, ni homa too. It's just a flu. Maybe it's not. So if you're having a high fever, if you're having like lightheadedness, you're having fatigue, or you're fainting, you're vomiting, you're having like a rash. Actually, the rash is like one of the main. When you get a rash, just go to hospital immediately. That is definitely TSS, especially if you're on your period and you're wearing a tampon. So if you're having any flu-like symptoms and you're on your period and and you usually use a tampon, please rush to the hospital. It may not be TSS, but the first thing that you need to tell your doctor is, I am on my period, I use a tampon, so that at least they rule TSS out of it. I actually have a friend who had TSS, but she had no idea that it was TSS. She was just having this rush and she was having a fever and she was just not feeling okay. So she thought, okay, this is more than a period. Let me just go to hospital. She saw a GP, but it was still, the GP could still not really exactly know what's happening. Then by luck, and this sounds like a movie, I swear, by luck, a gynecologist was on call for that day. And then the doctor went out to just have a chat or whatever. I don't remember the details of how the two met, and he happened to just mention in passing about this patient that she's seeing, because at that point she had actually been admitted. And then the gynecologist actually said, from the symptoms that she gave, the gynecologist is like, is she on her period? The doc is like, I don't know, I didn't ask her. Then she decided to go in and actually ask. So she's like, are you on your period? Yes. Are you using a tampon? Yes. And the gyna was just immediately, she's like, this is TSS, you need to do ABC. And she was like, if it wasn't for that gynecologist to be there in that time, in the right place at the right time, she has no idea what would have happened, or it would have taken such a long time before they actually diagnose it. So if you're a tampon user, you should definitely know this sign, so that when you get to hospital to get faster treatment, I'm not saying it's TSS, but just in case it is, always tell your doctor that you're using a tampon and you're on your period. So how do you protect yourself from TSS? One, if you must use a tampon, that's if you really, really must use a tampon, always take different sizes for different days. Tampons are not a one size fits all. I see people just buy one box of tampons and they use it for all their days. No, you should take it according to your flow. So for example, I'll use myself. If I was using tampons, which I'm not, but if I was to use tampons, then on day one, I would definitely take the mini size, like the very small size, because I'm not very heavy on day one. On day two, I'll definitely take like a bigger size, like the super absorbency one, but you always have to change after 4 hours because again, you cannot overstay with it. Then on the final day, I will take the third day, I'll take like a medium size for the absorbency, and then the final day, I'll take a small one again. So when you're using tampons, you cannot just use like one size. It's not a one size fits all kind of thing. And if you must use tampons, please avoid the super absorbency type, because the super absorbency one is the one that's actually the culprit. I'm going to leave a link to a video that I just watched of when TSS first came out in the 70s and how women were dying in the States until doctors actually found out that it was actually the tampons that were causing it. Point number 2, do not overstay with your tampon. Do not. Whether your tampon is full or not, change after 4 hours. Always change after 4 hours, because the more the tampon is stuck inside you, the more the bacteria is growing and the more risk that you're and the more riskier it is for you. So always change your tampon after 4 hours. Don't get to a point where when you're pulling out your tampon, you feel that scratching feeling. That scratching feeling is very dangerous. And if you're doing that month to month, imagine what you're doing to your own vagina. Point number 3, how you can avoid TSS. Get a cup. Get a reusable period product. Get a cloth pad or get a cup, because a cup, as opposed to a tampon is absorbing your period, but a cup is simply collecting it. That's why it's almost impossible for you to get TSS while using a cup. Again, because with a cup, because it's only collecting your period, it does not dry you out. It does not leave the scratches inside because it's collecting, it's not absorbing. The problem with a tampon, especially like a super absorbency tampon, a tampon is created to suck in, to absorb everything. So the moment it absorbs the blood and then you're not bleeding anymore, it starts absorbing your good bacteria and your bad bacteria. So it takes out all the mucus, it takes out all the natural lubrication and all the natural good bacteria that you have, and it sucks it out. That's why when you're pulling it out, you feel it dries you out because it sucked in everything. And that's why it's very important for you to use the right tampon on the right day. But you can avoid all this by just simply using a cup. The thing about a cup is it does not absorb anything. Good bacteria, bad bacteria, mucus, nothing. It does not absorb anything. It's only in to collect your period blood, and then it comes out. Yeah, and finally, if you're still convinced that you still want to use a tampon, please go inside the pamphlet and please read what these people have already told you. Inside the pamphlet, they've already actually talked about TSS. They've told you that there are chances that you might get TSS when you use this tampon. So they always advise you to change it after every 4 hours to avoid it. And the reason why tampon manufacturers started saying it is because they got sued so many times, because girls were losing their lives, girls were losing their limbs, guys were getting into comas. So they started getting sued and they were actually paying. So it got to a point where they actually had to write a disclaimer inside those pamphlets so that in case you suffer from TSS, you can never sue them. And why can you never sue them? Because they already told you. They told you if you use this product, you might get TSS. So it's up to you to make the informed decision. Do I want to use this product or do I not want to use this product? But at the end of the day, you cannot take them anywhere. You cannot sue them. You cannot take them anywhere because they already told you. They already informed you that you might get TSS from this product. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And this is just reason number 1,000,001 why you should always switch to a menstrual cups. Menstrual cups have so many advantages that women, I don't know how much more we need to tell women. I don't know which language I need to speak for women to understand just how important it is to not insert products that have chemicals or products that are not 100% organic. Anyway, I will talk to you later on and see you soon. Bye.